In the early morning of January 2nd, 2014, as a Santa Ana Wind event unfolded in the Inland Empire, Stephen Van Hofwegen passed away and into the comforting arms of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'd like to share one of those ways in which Stephen, my grandfather, made an impact on my life. After college, I moved to Southern California to go to graduate school and work for the dairy industry. The move was sudden, and without a place to live, I asked my grandparents if I could temporarily move in with them. My grandma immediately thought it was a wonderful idea. My grandpa, more reserved with his decision, said he thought his dog Princess could make room for me in the doghouse. As many of his grandchildren can attest, Grandpa Van Hofwegen was a fairly intimidating and intriguing figure at times. Smiles were somewhat scarce, and criticisms could be sharp. To me, growing up, he seemed like a crabby, old, tough dairy farmer. This image of him, however, changed in one night. While I was staying with my grandparents, I came home one late Friday evening. It must have been close to 1:30 a.m. As I quietly was walking up the front porch, I was surprised to see a dark shadow of a man sitting in a chair drinking coffee. "Why don't you get a cup of coffee and join me?" he said. A little confused, I said okay and went inside to pour a cup of Grandma's specially made 3-day-old coffee. As I sat next to him, I thought he would berate me for coming in so late and inform me, as he had his own children, especially my mother, that nothing good happens after midnight. Instead, he told me as he sipped on his coffee, "I like to sit out on the porch when the Santa Ana wind blows. The winds energize my bones. They make me feel alive and at peace." As he said this, I noticed Princess, the dog, quietly sitting by his feet. In response, I said, "Well, it must have the same effect on her." He nodded and smiled. For the next couple of hours, we talked about our lives, and I was able to see a different side of him. He was not only my grandfather, but a real person with incredible qualities and tremendous struggles. He also shared that he had a restlessness with life. He physically and mentally pushed himself beyond what most people could do to achieve some sort of peace. He attributed some of that restlessness to having been raised in the challenging and windswept plains of South Dakota. Dairy farming in Southern California, by contrast, was predictable and calm. That is, until the dry, warm Santa Ana winds blew. During the next 6 months I spent living there, and in the years following in which I visited, I was blessed to have a number of nights like that with him, and was proud to call him not only my grandpa, but also my friend. I envy how his candor and humor could cut across differences, and how his love to know you was genuine. It has been said that for Southern Californians, that the winds accentuate life's impermanence, its unreliability. They show us how close to the edge we are. It was in this realization about life's unreliability, ironically, where Grandpa found his peace. No matter how hard he worked, he couldn't control everything. The winds were a reminder to him that the only rest he could find in his life was in God's grace and perfect love.